Good morning, everybody. It's Graham once again from Unearthed UK, and to another Detecting Talk episode, which you might find interesting, folks. I hope you do. Before we go any further, I would like to just say that there's not going to be an Unearthed organised dig now until the festive period, because we keep getting asked a lot if we're going to be doing any more organised digs, and the answer to that is going to be nothing in November. There might be one if weather allows us to do so between Christmas and New Year, maybe the weekend between the Christmas and New Year. So keep your eye out for that one, folks, the guys that are already on our dig group. That's all I can say at the moment. I can't give any more reassurances about weather, venue, but we have never had a festive dig, so let's hope, fingers crossed, we can do one and the weather's favourable, even though December weather can be quite hostile up here in the north. Right, folks, on to the main subject. Now, I'm looking on social media quite a lot in between work. Obviously, we keep up to date with what's going on the forums and the Facebook detecting groups, which seem to be very lively at the moment. But I've seen a theme, if that's the right word, of individuals almost despairing that they're not finding a great deal of their own permissions. Now, there is a lot of detectorists out there, as we know, doing a wonderful job finding some really smart coins and artifacts and bringing history back to life, saving these artifacts and coins from sheer destruction from agricultural machinery, which I can only applaud them for doing so. However, there is a lot of individuals that have maybe started detecting, they've only been doing it for a short period, who seem to be getting frustrated. And the reason why they seem to be getting frustrated is because they're not finding a great deal of interesting finds from their permission or permissions. Now, I remember a number of years ago up here in the north detecting on a farm with a couple of guys, and we didn't find a great deal, to be fair. We kept on field hopping from field to field to see if we could find the right hot spot or the right field that's had a little bit of history in the past, where people have worked and done what they've had to do in the fields. But I'm finding now there's a lot of new detectorists and a lot of detectorists out there that are going back to the old farms and finding really good stuff that people have already been on. And I can only put it down to the fact that new technology, new detectors are obviously finding more, they're better equipped. Some of these new detectors are deeper seeking, so they're going to hit the coins and artifacts that past detectorists have missed. However, I do think also that there's a lot of detectorists that seem to be dismiss, I'll get my words out one day, won't I, because it's that bloody cold up here, that's why. Dismiss certain fields. They'll go on it once and they don't find anything and then they're off. So I've been, over the past few years, having discussions with one or two detectorists that seem to be dismayed about their lack of finds, but they're only really visiting these particular areas to search once or twice. You cannot do that. I mean, you've got to remember the coins and artifacts can be so small, it only takes a couple of inches and you've missed it, you've walked past it. The true detectorists that seem to be finding the gear are the ones that are persevering on the farms. That's what I'm trying to say. There's too many detectorists out there at the moment dismissing farms. They're going for the first time, not them coming home empty-handed, so they're disappointed, I guess is the right word, rather than dismayed. And then they don't seem to be going back and visiting the farm again, and then they're going off to look for new permissions and land elsewhere, and that's a real shame. I think my advice to detectorists now is if you've got permission and it's in a good area, it doesn't have to be in a good area, but if it's in a good area and all the links are there and all the signs are there that there'll be finds on that particular farm, somewhere there will be. Just keep persevering. I know it can be a bit daunting and a bit off-putting wandering on the same land time and time again, seeing the same scenery, but believe me, perseverance does pay off. There's too many detectorists out there dismissing land and fields, pretty much straight away, which is a real shame. And then other detectorists come along and get the same permissions, they get permission off the same landowner or the farmer, and they're sticking at the particular areas and farms and fields, and they do very well, and it's because they've persevered. So if there's any advice I can give you guys, is pretty much stick with some of the farms you've got. Don't dismiss them. There's too many people field hopping or farm hopping, as we call it. They're getting multiple farms under the wing permission wise up here in the north, for example, and they're only visiting them once or twice, and because they haven't found anything or they found very little, they're just ignoring it and going to the next. It's wrong. Keep sticking in. We've been detecting a particular farm in a particular county for nearly 17 years now, and it's okay, it's a big farm, it's got plenty of fields on it, but we don't, you know, if we go on a particular field and it's quiet, it doesn't mean there's nothing there, it just means we haven't walked over it. So we keep persevering. Every year we'll keep going back to the same fields, or you know, trying our best to hit it at a different angle, or start at the bottom end of the field rather than the top, or try the field next door for example. And it, you know, perseverance does pay off, and 9 times out of 10 we come back with some decent finds. You know, I've been on fields where it's been absolutely dead quiet, nothing's come up. I've gone back a couple of years later and bingo, found a couple of hammered, or a nice Roman brooch, or you know, anything. A couple of nice milled silver coins. In fact, you've got to persevere, folks. It's not worth field hopping and farm hopping. You're just going to get frustrated and end up having very little to show in your finds cases at the end of the year. So if that's any advice I can give, folks, is persevere with the farms you've got. There's too many people out there farm hopping, and they're all over the place, and they're not sticking into the farms enough to bring out the good stuff. And then they're raising an eyebrow when, you know, John, for example, has the same permission on the farm a number of years later and starts hitting a load of good gear off it because he's willing to stick in and persevere. You know, there's a lot of people out there, they want a quick fix and they want to get a quick result off detecting. Detecting's always been a marathon, not a sprint, and that's the way we have always viewed it. You can go out for weeks on end and not find a great deal, and then all of a sudden that one weekend when you decide to go out, the weather's semi-favourable, you've got a bit of time on your hands, and you start picking up some really wonderful finds. It's just walking over it, folks, having the perseverance and the time to get out there and walk over these farms without field hopping after 20 minutes or so, or half an hour, and just disappearing off to another farm because that one hasn't produced. I mean, there is some farms out there that are very quiet, and they've been quiet probably because they've had rallies on, or they've had other detectorists on for a decade or so. I can understand that, but give some of these farms a chance. You know, there's too many people getting dismayed and upset about not finding things on their permissions, and then they start saying, oh, I can't get permission anywhere, but they fail to realise they've already got 2 or 3 farms in the back pocket that they've visited over the years. Okay, might not be mega productive like some of the fields in the south and some of these ancient villages and towns that people have the chance to detect around, but I'm a great believer there's a bit of history just about everywhere if you're prepared to search and do the groundwork and stick in and do the perseverance side of things. So that's my bit of advice today, folks. Now, just for more information for you guys, we're going to be doing some videos or films in the next couple of weeks into December, of some new products that are going to be coming out on the detecting market. Now, some of you guys may have you know, gone completely mad about all these new products coming out, but we've got to show it on the YouTube channel. I mean, a lot of people are saying, you know, I wish I knew about that earlier. What better way to show these new products than on here? So it's not a shopping channel, it's just to show you guys the products that are coming out on the market for detectorists to look at and potentially purchase and use and get a great deal of enjoyment out of using these new products. There's going to be things like covers, there's going to be things like finds pouches, items of clothing, digging tools, that sort of thing, new headphones. There's going to be a whole mix and match of all new products coming out pretty soon, so keep an eye out on the Unearthed YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll be able to show these as early as next week, some of the new products. Also worth mentioning, if I can just turn my head, these digging tools, as you can see, if you look on the Unearthed website, these are actually under a different image. We're going to have to put the new images on, which is going to show this particular digging tool rather than the other ones. These are the ones that are available currently on the Unearthed website, so keep an eye out for them, folks. They seem to be selling pretty well, especially the red coloured ones, so keep an eye out for them. A lot of people seem to be interested in the digging tools. There they are, they're on the website to purchase now, folks. Give it a go. What else can I say? Keep an eye out on the Unearthed Facebook group, folks. We're going to be reaching 8,000 people pretty soon, I would say by December, and that will trigger off a competition. Or is it 9,000? 8,000, 9,000, I can't remember now. But that'll trigger off a free competition for people to enter. We're going to show the prize on the Unearthed YouTube channel, so stay subscribed to this channel if you possibly can, because it's worth, even if you just want to join it to look at the prizes that are going to be up for grabs. I mean, they're going to be free, so why not get in for it? So keep an eye out for that. And I'm away detecting this weekend. Finally, last weekend we didn't go. The weather wasn't too good either way, but this weekend we've got a window of half decent weather coming in, so I'm going to get out, I'm going to get all my warm weather gear on, and I'm going to hit them fields, and I'm not going to come off them fields until I've found something half decent. I'm absolutely chomping at the bit to get out in them fields. It's if I have a week off detecting, I start climbing the walls. It's in my blood. I love it, absolutely love it. So I'll be out detecting this weekend. Keep an eye out. We're going to do some finds. We're going to put a YouTube video on or a film on of the finds coming up in the fields, fingers crossed, without jumping the gun too much. I'm hoping we'll find some half decent things. We've got some decent enough land to go on. So keep that watching, and there'll be another episode of Detecting Talk, probably, fingers crossed, next Tuesday. Okay everybody, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.